now, metalheads, it is Black Metal Werewolf making a brand new video for you this week. And today, what I would like to talk about is how there are so many metal outsiders who view someone who enjoys metal as nothing but someone going through a rebellious phase. Now, this is something that I'm sure plenty of metalheads have heard at least one point in their lives, most likely in their teenage years when they first started getting into metal. And of course that is, oh, it's just a phase, or you know teenagers and their rebellious phases, and things along those lines. And personally, I always found it quite interesting that so many people view someone liking metal or other outsider music such as goth or punk, and they view that, someone enjoying those things, as nothing but someone going through a phase or teenage rebellion. Personally, I remember the first time I got it. I wore my first band t-shirt to the 8th grade, and I got in so much shit for that, and my teacher pulled me aside and he was like, "Listen, I know you think it's all cool and this is the whole rebellious thing now that you're becoming a teenager." And I remember just thinking in my head like, whoa, dickhead, you need to slow your roll here. I am wearing this t-shirt because I like this band, not because this is some rebellious statement that I'm trying to say fuck you to the establishment. I found that quite insulting, because to me it's an insult to my intelligence that I would only ever want to enjoy something simply because, oh, it's rebellious, it's gonna piss off mommy and daddy and the teachers. That to me is just a very immature attitude to have towards something like enjoying music. And not to mention, can you imagine your threshold for rebellion being so low that you think someone wearing a band t-shirt to school is a sign of rebellion, or someone enjoying a type of music as a form of rebellion? Like, let me tell you, if this guy's kid ever ends up smoking, this guy's probably gonna have to, like, get committed. Like, because if he thinks someone enjoying heavy metal music is rebellion, oh fuck, you know, if your kids start boozing and smoking, that's some pretty hardcore shit. If, you know, metal is your fucking line for rebellion. And of course, I never viewed someone enjoying metal as a form of rebellion. Like, oh no, I'm listening to metal, what am I gonna start doing next? Oh, better watch out, I'm gonna start jaywalking soon. I also found it quite interesting how the people who are putting these rebellious tags on things like metal aren't the people in the group. For example, when I first started getting into metal, the reason why I liked it so much is one of the reasons, yes, is because it was so different. I remember listening to all these other types of music and just not really feeling anything with it. But then when I found out about metal and started finding out about these crazy characters and the music itself is so extreme and it was just so different, and I just found a connection to it for whatever reason. We can debate that in another video. But to me, in my head, it was never, oh, I'm doing this to piss off mommy and daddy or to piss off a teacher. That was never even in my mindset. It was just, this is something different and I like it and I think it's cool. And I suppose if you think someone's showing off their interest as a form of rebellion, then I suppose to a degree I was rebelling. But to me, it was never a conscious effort to become some sort of rebellious hard ass who's giving the middle finger to society. That just wasn't even in my head. So they were the ones that were, that teacher that said those things to me, they were the ones that were putting the rebellious stigma to it. It wasn't me. I wasn't doing it to piss him off. He just saw it and he got pissed off and then labeled it as rebellious. I was also thinking that maybe this whole rebellious thing is something I'm just not quite aware of. Maybe it's just I've become colorblind to the whole metal thing, and I just view it all as normal because I've exposed myself so much to, you know, the corpse paint, the stage clothes, the spikes, the leather, all these things. So I was thinking, is it actually that rebellious, but maybe I'm just not seeing it anymore because I've become so accustomed to it? And I can see it from both points. Yes, because, you know, someone walking around wearing spikes and leather, and that could be, I suppose, viewed as a rebellious statement. But honestly, how often do so many metalheads actually dress that overtly in public? Like, sure, if you're going to a concert, yeah, everyone's going dressed in the nines with their vests and the spikes and the boots and all that shit. But that's not rebelling. It's actually conforming to a group, almost tribalism for this concert. To other people, that would be viewed as a rebellious thing, but for metalheads, you're pretty much wearing the uniform to the job, right? But other than that, like, is wearing a black band t-shirt a form of rebellion? I don't think so. I think if you were to see that as a form of rebellion, you might be a bit of a pansy, and if you think that is extreme rebellion, a dude growing his hair long, like, come on, I think we've gone past that. I think a dude can have long hair without it being, an FU to society. It's not 1950 anymore. I think a dude can have long hair. Come on. So I suppose I can see it from both sides, but I'm definitely leaning more towards that it's not a conscious effort for rebellion. Even though I may be colorblind to the situation, I just don't really see it that way. I also want to bring up that through getting to know so many metalheads ever since I started this YouTube channel, I've never once met a single one of them who has ever, at least never admitted to enjoying metal simply for the fact that it's a rebellious phase. Because personally, I could give you a laundry list of reasons why I enjoy metal, and not a single one of those things on the list is to rebel against society, Catholic Church, my parents, etc., etc. That's just not on the list. And personally, if I met a metalhead and I said, hey, what got you into metal? And they said, because it pisses off mommy and daddy. To me, that is the biggest poser shit I think I would ever hear. It's like, oh, you don't like the sound, you don't like the message, you don't like the lyrics, you don't like the content, you're doing it just because your mom and dad don't like it. That is the biggest load of poser shit I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. But now, of course, I want to get your guys' opinion on all of this. Do you believe that someone listening to outsiders' music, such as heavy metal, is a form of rebellion against society, against religion, parents, etc., etc.? Do you think it's that, or do you think it's just outsiders having a very low threshold of what rebellion is? So please give me your opinions, your stories, anything you have to say about this subject. I'd like to know what you guys have to say about all this. And now, like my past videos, I either do an album recommendation or an album warning, and unfortunately today is a warning. I finally got around to listening to the new Dimmu Borgir album, and I have to say I wasn't really impressed. I believe it's pronounced Ionian or Ionian, either way how you pronounce it. I didn't really enjoy it. I remember when it first came out, I know I'm pretty late to the party on this one, but I just finally got around to buying it and listening to it. I remember when it first came out, 2 years ago or whatever, they released the single Interdimensional Summit, and I thought, okay, that's not a terrible song, this album might be worth a listen, so I finally listened to it, and it's not that it was like god-awful, terrible, I had to turn it off. I just found it very boring. I was listening to it on my way to work, and I didn't get any sort of reaction, either good or bad. To me, it felt like I was almost listening to elevator music. Granted, it wasn't as terrible as the album that came out before this, but, instead of listening to this, just put on Stormblast, right? That album is way better. So unfortunately, I do have to give a bit of a warning. Once again, it's not terrible, I just found it very bland and boring. So, there you go. And now, right before I wrap everything up here, I just want to let everybody know that patches are now back on my Bandcamp page. I apologize, it has taken me so long to get new patches made up, but they are finally here and ready to ship. So if you'd like to get your very own, there's a link down in the description. Definitely check it out to help support the channel. I would really appreciate it. So that is it for today's video. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of today's video, checking out some of my past videos, and sharing them with a few of your friends while you're at it. If you want to keep up with me on a more daily basis, you can follow me on Facebook and on Instagram. I also have a P.O. box open. All of that info is down in the description. I also have patches back for sale, so if you would like to get your very own, you can click right over here. There's also a link down in the description. Overall, thank you very much for watching, guys, and don't forget to stay brutal.